You don't see Jesus in your life, but why? It's a problem of recognition, isn't it? Why are we too busy to notice Jesus in our lives? Because we are focusing on things of the world and giving them immediacy and importance in our lives. The two disciples on the road to Emmaus were focused on their goal, to home before dark. The problem with distraction and busyness is that we miss out on the important things in life. The kids growing up. The needs of our spouse. Our own health and well-being. And we don't see or acknowledge Jesus working in our daily lives. There is the story of the man who was late to work because he went to his child's first day of school on September 11, 2001. He wasn't at his desk in the Twin Towers in New York when the buildings came down. Was that luck, or the work of God? How many times should we have said, "Thank you God," but didn't? Isn't it amazing how many times God blesses us, and we fail to recognize the blessing, or thank Him for the blessing? The women who went to the tomb that morning didn't find his body but instead discovered two angels who told them to go to the apostles and tell them that Jesus was alive. Their report was corroborated by our friends who went to the tomb and found everything exactly as the women had reported. Jesus had promised that he would rise on the third day, but because of the men's humanity and human understanding they couldn't bring themselves to believe that anyone could actually rise from the dead. Their humanity had blinded them from seeing what stood before them, Jesus. We have a way of quickly blaming God for the bad things that happen, and overlooking all the good He does for us as we journey down the path towards our eternal home, with He and His Father. When life goes well, we tend to take credit for our wise decisions, rather than to give credit where credit belongs, with God. After all, who gave you the knowledge and willingness to make the decisions you did? The two on the road were followers of Jesus, but their faith was weak, and the ways of the world were strong within them. Think back over your life and recall the many times God has protected, blessed, and cared for you. If you focus on worldly beliefs, you will come to think only in worldly terms. After this helped their understanding of faith by quoting and explaining the scriptures to them, was their faith strengthened, and the curtain of Christianity was drawn back to expose Jesus Himself. Like our travelers, once you grow in faith and understanding, your attitude will never become defensive, discouraged, or depressed, because your goal will be to please the Father rather than to achieve your own agenda. Our travelers' agenda was entirely earthly. They reached the village, but their earthly goals blinded them to the blessing that stood before them. God is in the hearts of all, and they that seek shall surely find Him when they need Him most. Louisa May Alcott.